Game 2 of the live Intrasquad games. Obviously, they had game 1 of this 5-game series not televised. And Team Bo won the first 2 games, but Team Grich went out there today and threw a combined no-hitter. That tells you right there how the pitching net was. Now, for example, the pitching for Team Grich was all bullpen guys. Every inning it changed. So it's hard for a batter. I mean, as we saw, when the Jays did bullpen days back last year, you saw teams kind of, not do too well against some of them. Now, obviously, one time here and there, they obviously teed off, but a no-hitter for Team Grich. We'll talk about some of the pitchers that pitched in this ball game and kind of the stories and what we liked, what we didn't like. And let's break some things down here. First off, I'm going to start right at the top here with a guy that I have, Travis Bergen. Now, he pitched very well today, as did everybody from Team Grichik, throughout 3-down inning. And the thing I really like about Travis Bergen is that not only is he already pitched in the big leagues, but he was a former Blue Jay. Now, if anybody doesn't really know the story behind Travis Bergen, he was in Double-A New Hampshire. He might have played in Triple-A a little bit. And obviously the Rule 5 expansion came, the Jays couldn't protect him, so he got picked up by the San Francisco Giants. He pitched I don't know the exact amount of games he pitched for the San Francisco Giants, and he didn't do too well. And the Jays had Elvis Luciano, and they kept him around. Well, Bergen was not. He was not kept around by San Francisco. The Blue Jays got him back. And meanwhile, in Double-A, Travis Bergen had ridiculously good numbers. He was the closer for the team, and he looked real good today. Again, another lefty guy who looked real solid. I like what we saw there today. Ty Tice is a guy that kind of burst on the scene last year for the Blue Jays. Had a really good year at Triple-A Buffalo, and really showed me today what he's all about. He's a really sharp breaking ball, and yeah, he's not a big guy, and maybe his fastball's not extremely overpowering, but when you're a curveball, as we've seen with guys like Marco Estrada and players like that, you don't need an overpowering fastball, but if your off-speed is that good, it'll look like 95, 96 to these hitters. So Ty Tice did a really good job in his 1 inning of work. Jordan Romano started the ball game for Team Grich, and I think he was electric. Mixing in his pitches, throwing quality strikes. I think the reason why his ERA was so inflated, a lot of the talk was that, if I'm not mistaken, Romano started the year last year as a starter. I could be totally wrong with that, but nonetheless, he pitched a lot last year between the Double-A, Triple-A, and the Blue Jays. So he kind of burned out at the end of the year, and I get that. And he goes out there today. I mean, it's one game, it's an inter-squad game, all that kind of thing, but he looked real solid. I love what we saw from Jordan Romano. Hard fastball, as we all know, going to touch like 97. But if his off-speed is that good and he can throw it for strikes in good spots, Romano can be a dominant back end of the bullpen guy. And that's really where they have him slated right now, kind of with Giles, Dolis. They have Jordan Romano, obviously, in that kind of mix as well. So I love what we saw there. Now let's talk about the starter for Team Bo. Anthony Kay was the guy on the mound for Team Bo, and through the first 3 innings, Anthony Kay was absolutely awesome. Mixing in his pitches nice, throwing a lot of strikes. He struck out the side, if I'm mistaken, just in the first inning. Actually, that could have been Romano. No, it was Romano who did that. But he had a lot of great pitches, did Anthony Kay, and he had quite a few strikeouts in the first 3 innings, and he looked real good. Then the 4th inning came along, and then Grichik got a hold of one. Team Grich, the captain of Team Grich, Randall Grichik, it's like a tongue twister, I swear. He gets a ball, and look, it didn't look, and right off the bat, I didn't know if it was going to be out of the ballpark or not, but it was pretty well hit by Grichik, a 2-run shot, and Anthony Kay kind of, had a little trouble after that. He gave up a double to Joe Panik, and a lot of things with Joe Panik, no one's really talking about him. And I think that's the great thing about Joe Panik. He reminds everybody of an Eric Sogard. That's what we kind of been hearing the comparison. And if Blue Jay fans watched last year and you remember what Eric Sogard did for this team, and if you're hearing that type of comparison, get ready to love this guy. He seems to be good in the clubhouse. You kind of see when they were showing him in the clubhouse, he's already got the camaraderie down, and he's a veteran guy, right? So he's been around. He was in San Francisco, so he knows what it's all about. And I love having a guy like Joe Panik around. Now, going back to Anthony Kay, he struggled in the 4th inning. But the first 3 innings were very promising. Now, for Anthony Kay, we obviously heard Chase Anderson is down and probably won't start the season with the Blue Jays. So what that'll probably do is it'll push Trent Thornton up to the 4th spot in the rotation, and that leaves a hole in that number 5 spot in the rotation, whether you have a guy like Ryan Baracki go in there, and he'll be pitching tomorrow against Nate Pearson. Well, that'd be a matchup. But of course, I don't think it's televised, so that would suck. Or that is going to suck if it's not televised. If it is, great, but I don't think it is. Now, with Anthony Kay and Ryan Baracki are kind of guys that you're looking at like, well, those are the 5 stars. They're both lefties, so there's no real advantage in that sense. So it's really exciting. Obviously, with Anthony Kay, he actually pitched last year. Ryan Baracki did, but for not very long. So it's going to be really intriguing to see what they decide to do with both of those guys. It would have been Chase Anderson. Those 2 guys probably would have been long guys out of the pen, or middle relief guys or whatnot. But now that there's a spot open, who do you think's got that spot? Do you think it's going to be Anthony Kay? Do you think Ryan Baracki's going to got that? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what goes on here. Now, let's go to 3 more relievers, not so big names, right? Because we all knew about Travis Bergen. You've heard about him before. Ty Tice came out of the scene last year, and we heard about him quite a bit. Jordan Romano, we saw last year. Kay, Grich, Joe Panik, we all kind of heard about those guys. Now let's get to 3 names that pitched in this game that opened my eyes. Number 1 is A.J. Cole. A guy that pitched, I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, for the Pirates last year or some. Anyways, he was signed to a minor league deal, and he looked real good. Hard fastball, 95, 96, maybe even beyond that. They obviously didn't have a radar gun, so it's hard to tell. And his breaking ball is sharp. That thing dies out, and he had a lot of swing and miss in this game, and he looked really, really solid. And he's a guy that I could see being middle relief, and if he succeeds and if guys at the back end don't do well, he could be a guy right at the back end of that pen. He looked real good today. Brian Baker, and the crazy thing about Brian Baker, the story about Brian Baker, okay? Now, let's go back a few years. The Blue Jays trade Sung-Won Oh, okay, to the Colorado Rockies in exchange for Forrest Wall, Chad Spanberger, and a player to be named later. So we all know Chad Spanberger got traded to Milwaukee for Chase Anderson. Obviously, he's hurt right now, but there's the swap you had there. So basically, Chase Anderson's there. Then you have Forrest Wall, who we've been seeing a little bit here in the last 2 games. He played in both. He looked all right in center field with the bat. We haven't seen too much of him yet. And Brian Baker was that player to be named later. And I thought he was real good. He had a clean 1-2-3 inning. Looked real solid out there. Again, nice breaking ball, hard fastball. That's what the Jays seem to have gone out there this year and kind of, this offseason really, and kind of got a lot of hard throwers. And that's worked for a lot of teams in the past. The Jays like, hey, we need some guys who can throw some heat back there. We don't need any Thomas Panones coming out of the pen who throw 88 and 89 trying to paint the corner. If they don't, they're getting crunched. Right, we don't need any of that kind of stuff. You need guys that throw hard, that got that movement. Now, obviously, guys like Ty Tice don't have that, but the mix of his pitches is incredible. So a guy like Brian Baker, I thought was real good. Now, a guy that I'm very intrigued to see if he makes this team because of his delivery. Brian Moran. I mean, this guy, Colin Moran is his brother. I think the crazy stat was that in his first game in the big leagues, he faced his brother, Colin Moran of the Pirates, and struck him out. So that's a pretty crazy thing for him to do there, and probably lots of smiles in that. I might have to go look at that at some point shortly. But the delivery on him is deadly to left-handed batters. He's not even a sidearm pitcher. He's submarine. It's completely wonky. Not Darren O'Day-esque, but something close to it. So, and he was real good at it. Threw up 3 down inning, faced 2 lefties, if I'm not mistaken, and he got both guys out, made them look pretty stupid. I mean, look, when you throw as wonky as he does, make it happen. And the question will be, with the new rule in place, if you guys did not know, if you guys did not watch the game today and have not really kept up to date too much, that's totally okay. That's why I'm here. So, there's no more lefty specialists. That does not exist in baseball anymore. You can't have a guy like Aaron Loop come in, face 1 lefty, and then get out of the ball game. That's not a thing. I think the rule is you have to either finish an inning or face 3 batters. So you can't face one guy and get him out of the ballgame. He's got to either face 3 or end the inning. So if that's the rule, can there be 2 outs? You get the last guy, and then that's the end of the inning. Then you can take him out the next inning. I don't know. That's something I have to work on there. But if they have to face 3 batters, that's tough. Because if you have a guy like they mentioned it on the broadcast today, and it's a very good point. If you've got like Andrew Benintendi of the Boston Red Sox coming up, you want to have a lefty against him. And a guy like Brian Moran with the wonky delivery he has, you'd want him to face Benintendi. Problem though, if there's Xander Bogaerts behind him, the righty, and if Moran's not great against righties, do you even bother throwing him out there against Benintendi? So the rule is crazy now, and that could be make it or break it for guys like Brian Moran. If that rule is still, if the lefty specialist thing was still a thing, he'd probably make the team because he's got a wonky delivery. But it's not a thing anymore. So how does he attack righties? He did good in his 1 inning of work today. But we'll see how it goes. Now, somebody that we all know very well about, Kevin Biggio. He's going to do his thing. He crunched a shot today. That swing. Look, I forgot how beautiful Kevin Biggio's swing was. Then he hits that home run, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. All right? Now, there's not too much else I want to touch on when it comes to this game because there's a lot of numbers. I think Team Grich won 5-0 in this game. Like I said, a combined no-hitter for Team Grich through 6 innings. So that was really cool to watch. Now, this is where things get real fun. Because if I'm not mistaken, there are no more televised games until next week when there are 2 exhibition games at Fenway Park against the Boston Red Sox. That is so key to this team moving forward. The reason I say that is because when you're playing inter-squad games, you can only be so competitive. Like if you hit a double, people are gonna laugh at you, make stupid faces at you, and call you slow, call you fat, whatever the case may be, for Vladdy and stuff like that, and they'll laugh it off. If you're playing a team like the Red Sox, you want to beat them, no matter if it's exhibition or not. You want to win. And for this team to go from inter-squad games and laughing and joking around to regular season, let's go, might be tough. Now, will 2 games really do anything? I'm not sure. But it'll get him in that mindset of, hey, we're not going to stand here and laugh and joke to these guys. We're not basically pitching to our own players now. They're pitching to try and get us out, and we're trying to do stuff, try and get hits, get on base to score runs and win a ball game. So the mentality is going to change next week with those 2 exhibition games. My plan is, obviously, I'm assuming those 2 games are going to be televised. So with that being said, I will cover those 2 games like I'm doing here with the inter-squad games. Excuse me. And the plan will be, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Tuesday and Wednesday, because then they start Friday, and then the Thursday will be the season preview. That's kind of what I'm going for here. All right, that's kind of what I'm going for the Blue Jays. Things could change in that time, but I just want to give you guys the heads up on that. And as I mentioned to you guys in a couple of videos ago, the first few games of the season, and I hate to do this to you guys, but it just scheduling-wise was horrendous. The first, so the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games, I will not be able to be doing videos, not be able to do videos for you guys that night. I come back on the Monday from my buddy's cottage, on the Monday, during the day. So that day, I will do a video of all 3 games that I missed. Meanwhile, I'll keep updated on the Instagram. So if you guys are interested in that, like I said, we got some new followers there yesterday. That's great to see. The link is down below for the Instagram page. I'll keep up to date on that. I'll do as much as I can there. But then when I come back, I'll do a video for all 3 games. And then that game on the Monday, we'll do a video on that and kind of get into our groove from there on out. All right? I just want to give you guys a heads up there. All right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you guys enjoyed watching today's ballgame, so it was actually pretty fun to watch. Seeing all these guys you've never seen before and see them pitch pretty damn good. All right? So smack the like button if you guys enjoyed this one. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on some of the pitchers and players that I mentioned today. Anybody that I did not mention in this video that you want to mention, go nuts, guys, in the comments below. I want to hear everything you guys want to talk about. And anybody in the group that I mentioned today, anybody that you see making this team that you normally wouldn't have thought so. I want to hear your guys' take. Let me know in the comments below. I think Justin Miller was another guy I didn't mention, but he had a not a rough inning, but a little bit of a longer inning. But as the other guys, I didn't want to make it too long of a video. So any other names that you guys suggest, let me know in the comments below. All right, Twitter is down below for myself, and Instagram is down below as well. So follow up, guys. Send me a DM on both. Do crazy stuff. I've been getting some DMs on Instagram. I've been getting some follows on Instagram. That's what we like to see. Keep that thing moving. Keep that thing active. That's what I like to see. All right. And I will talk to you guys Leafs and Raptors edition either this time next week. So when I'm covering those two Blue Jays games with the Red Sox, again, if it's Tuesday and Wednesday, which I think it is, or Monday, Tuesday, something like that, either way, I'll be covering those two for the Red Sox exhibition games. I'm assuming they're televised. And depending on when the exhibition games are, I'm assuming it's going to be the Tuesday, Wednesday. So the Thursday, I'll be doing the season preview for the Blue Jays, and the Raptors and Leafs will be on the Tuesday or Wednesday, or both for that matter, for their season's preview. It's going to be a crazy time starting next week, people. We're going to hit the gas and start going because it is going to be a long time. A lot of videos coming out for you guys over the next little while with season previews, exhibition games, seasons getting going for all three teams. It's going to get crazy, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you guys then.